No namers, can I get an amen? Now, how about a hallelujah? Yeah! Welcome! It's the show with no name, and it's time for liftoff, baby. Let's go. 6, 5, 4,
3, 2,
come on.
1, 0. Ignition.
Come on.
Liftoff.
We got this.
Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
Yes. Come on, come on, come on. Get up there.
Get ready.
Yes, yes,
Hold on
yes.
Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten
Yeah.
your seatbelts. Hold on to your
And
hats.
get ready for the ride of your life.
The show with no. It's show with no name time.
Where?
On Fun Radio.
Right.
It's the show with no name.
Let's go. Come on. Hands up. We are going for a ride today, amigos, in our English extravaganza. Welcome, show with no namers. Welcome. That's for you. Especially for Chris Valrol, Gloria, Laura, Nuria, Anix, and Paco. They get a special applause this week for participating in our question of the week. We're going to be taking a look at epiphanies today. Those aha moments in life when you say, oh my God, I see the light. Brothers and sisters, I see the light. And next week, I can give you next week's question of the week as well. Next week, well, we're getting ready for Halloween, so I want to know the scariest thing that's ever happened to you. This is next week's question of the week, amigos. This week, it's too late to participate. If you haven't participated yet, don't worry. You can participate next week. And again, next week, the question is, what is the scariest thing that's ever happened to you? La cosa que más miedo te ha dado en tu vida. And remember, it's really important, this part. Keep it around a minute. I have a student today, and you'll see who it is, who gave us over 2 minutes. Now, what does that mean? If you give me over 2 minutes, you're doing part of the exercise. You're giving me your opinion, and that's great, and you're expressing yourself in English, but you're not doing the concise part. And that's part of the exercise. So please, please, this is out of respect for everybody, because I think every question I ask can be answered in a minute. Okay, you can go a minute 20. You can even go a minute 30. But over 2 minutes, you've already gone, you've used double the time that I think it should take you to be able to say that. So don't forget, a very big part of this is not just answering it, but answering it short and sweet. You know, I think of it like this, like when I ask somebody a question, let's say I'm in the elevator with you. Estamos en el, how do you say it? El ascensor. We're in the elevator together, and I ask you, hey, how you doing? ¿Qué tal te va? And 2 minutes later, you're still telling me. Do you know what happens at that point? I mean, in a real situation, that's when I'm like, I start to feel awkward. And I'm like, ooh, I've got to go. Now this conversation's going on longer than I needed it to. I mean, I didn't want to know the person's life story. So again, you can, if you want, send us 10 minutes. I can't guarantee it's going to get on the air. I mean, as I said, the exercise, as much as I want you guys to show off and everything, I really need to insist that we keep it around a minute because it's part of the exercise. I don't want you to go on and on. That's not the exercise. The exercise is not, and then this, and then also another thing I wanted to say, that's not the kind of exercise it is. It's an exercise that you got to be concise. And I think even, in our own language, sometimes we beat around the bush. We talk in circles when we can say the same thing in a sentence or two. So don't forget. And also out of respect for your classmates, right? If everybody's doing around a minute and yours is 2.5 minutes, everybody else is following the rules and you're not. Again, it's no big deal, but I want you to know that as much as answering the question is part of the exercise, it's keeping your discourse, your whatever you want to say, your spiel is tu charla, at around a minute. Again, I can't insist how much of this is part of the exercise. The same thing, when we look at our Say What soundbite. If you give me, and we've had this in the past, I remember some students would give me 6 sentences to describe 3. That's not the exercise, right? Okay, that's if I say, guys, I want you to elaborate and I want you to give me a long-winded version of it. Great. But that's never the exercise, because then again, it goes back to that elevator, ese ascensor, and you're like, bueno, ¿qué tal va el negocio? And then after 2 minutes, you're looking at your watch, the other person's still talking, and you're like, esto es mi parada, me bajo aquí, and now it's uncomfortable. So I can't stress it enough. Keep it at around a minute. That is part of the exercise, just like answering the question every week. And in general, you guys all do that. But we had one this week, and I'll forgive him because he's got a lot to say, Paco. But Paco and all of you, just for for future reference, remember to keep it at around a minute. It's, I think I say it every time I tell you the question of the week. I say, send me around a minute. Okay, so make sure you adhere to that. To adhere. Vamos a empezar con adhere. How do you say that in Spanish? Adhere to. Y apréndetelo con to porque, adherirse. Cumplir. Bueno, literally to stick, but also cumplir, acatar, obedecer. You have to adhere to the rules. The rules are, like I tell my daughter, the rules are for everyone. All right? Now, that doesn't mean you can't break them, but then the consequences are yours. And I think some rules are made to be broken, but not this one because it's part of the exercise. I'm not just teaching you how to express yourself in English, but I also want you to be able to make it short and sweet and to get to the point. And you should be able to. There's no question I ask you that I don't think you can answer in under a minute, even introducing yourself and even telling a joke if you want. And you should still be able to answer the question. So we'll be taking a look at your question of the week answers. Again, that's Chris Valrol, Gloria, Laura, Nuria, Anix, and Paco. We'll be hearing from them a little bit later on in the show, talking about epiphanies, right? And speaking of elevators,
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
there you go, folks. There you go. It's grupovaughn.com/cursos destacados. You can find out all about our exciting events. Don't forget, we've got an open house today. If you're listening live, this is the thanks phone. The 11th of October, I've got the information here. Let me find it. Recursos Humanos newsletter. Here it is. Guys, if you want to get our newsletter, don't forget to subscribe. Let's see what we've got. We've got that open house. Where is it here? I'm looking for it. Oh, here it is. In Santander, Valladolid, and Bilbao. This is the 11th of October. It's a Friday, and it all kicks off at 5:30 p.m. 5:30 to 7:30. Bring the whole family. You'll have activities for the kids, for the grown-ups as well, and you can live the Vaughan experience. Vivir la experiencia Vaughan. Again, that's in Santander, Valladolid, and Bilbao. Also, some other news. Sadly, folks, we are going off the air in Valencia. I know. It saddens me as much as it saddens you. Now, this is not a decision that I make, or, these are usually financially motivated decisions, right? Because in the end, it's a company. We've got more than just the radio. We've got courses. So I don't do the budget. Yo no hago el precio, naturally, right? So I don't know all the ins and outs, but I know, unfortunately, we will be off the air in Valencia. I don't know exactly what date, but the good news, as we say in English, every cloud has a silver lining. No hay mal que por bien no venga, right? Every cloud has a silver lining. Well, that silver lining, que se puede usar así también, the silver lining is you can still catch all your favorite programs on the Vaughan Radio app. And I can't stress it enough. I think the easiest way to make sure you never, ever, ever miss your favorite episodes of Vaughan Radio is to download the app. Because from the app, you can participate. From the app, you can also get the podcasts. So it really is the best place to listen to Vaughan Radio. Sorry, Valencianos. I hope you'll continue to learn with us on the Vaughan Radio app. And the most important thing is, it's free. So, and as we said the other day, but I like to listen in the car. Oh, you don't bring your phone in the car? Since when? So you can put your phone on the seat next to you, or I'm sure you have a little phone holder and everything, algo que lo sujeta, and just, once you know where you're going. Now, normally if you're commuting every day, you know exactly where you're going automatically. Well, then you can put on the Vaughan Radio app and learn English and participate, which I think that's one of the cool things too. Almost all of our shows are shows that require participation. And speaking of participation, let's kick off with our pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Also, folks, if you are not following me on social media and following Vaughan, you are missing out, because I know myself, I've been making a conscious effort to post more often, to do some live streams from time to time. In fact, I've been doing a live stream every Friday morning, like a pre-show to the show with no name. And for example, this morning, if you joined me on my stroll, mi paseo, you'll see that we looked at, vamos a ver, lo tengo aquí. We looked at hard to come by. Do you know this? If something is hard to come by, it's sought after. You say codiciado, buscado, ¿no? Que Piensa, it's hard to come. You can't come by that any place. No puedes encontrártelo. So to come by es encontrar. Entonces, si añadimos el hard to come by. Eso es difícil encontrar eso. ¿No? Codiciado. Sought after, decimos también. We also looked at a couple idiomatic expressions. When in Rome, do as the Romans. O a secas, when in Rome. We looked at to take its toll, pasar factura. We looked at birds of a feather flock together. Dios los cría y ellos se juntan. We looked at the verb come across, because I was just letting everybody know you've got a brand new episode of FYI on the verb to come. So that's why I looked at hard to come by, to come across, and other idiomatic expressions with come. We also looked at wanna, gonna, and other pronunciation nuances. And we also looked at can't help, I can't help, más el gerundio, no puedo evitar, and much, much more. So if you haven't checked it out, it's on my Instagram. It's Alberto_Alonso. And while you're at it, ya que estás, make sure you guys are following Vaughn as well. And this way you can find out about our upcoming events as well, about special deals. And speaking of upcoming events, mark your calendars. November 6th, Kyle Miller is hosting the next Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. Yeah! Come on now. As always, it's at Roll Madrid. Roll Madrid. I don't know if it's 8 or 8:30. Well, you know what? Plan on getting there at 8. Planifica para las 8. It's November 6th, el 6 de noviembre, un miércoles, and it's our monthly Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. Don't miss it, folks. We hope you can make it. And if you can't make it, like last month when I hosted, all of you who are not in Madrid, because I have a lot of students, not just on the peninsula, but in Canarias, in Latin America. So naturally, you can't make it, but you're always there with us in spirit. And that's true. I really believe that. You know, if you send your energy to us, we send it back to you. And a part of you is actually there with us. All right, amigos. Now, today we're going to take a look at something from Errores Comunes en Inglés que deberías conocer. I recommend you get this book and you study it inside and out. Why? Well, when you're done with it, you'll probably be making much fewer mistakes, right? Fewer, contable, less incontable. And so it comes with audio. As you know, many of our materials come with audio that we're going to be listening to in just a moment. And it goes over the most common mistakes made by Spanish speakers who are learning English. Aside from this book, I told you yesterday, but also remember, we've got a brand new book for people who are short on time, que no tienen mucho tiempo. And it's brand new. It's available at Vaughn Tienda. It's called 365 días en inglés. Be the first one to get it. And I haven't even seen it yet. Well, I see a sample of some of the pages, and it looks great. And it basically makes sure that you have a little lesson every day. And at the end of the year, well, you don't have to be good at math here. You'll have 365 different lessons. But today we're not looking at that. Today we're going to look at errores comunes en inglés que deberías conocer. Available at Vaughn Tienda. Listen carefully, and then I'll have a challenge for you.
Pista 52. Error 28.
Can you say this without to make any mistakes? No. Can you say this without making any mistakes?
Se me cayó sin darme cuenta.
I dropped it without realizing it.
Probablemente Sue lo hizo sin darse cuenta.
Sue probably did it without meaning to.
Deja la escena sin tocar nada.
Leave the scene without touching anything.
Puedo correr sin parar durante 30 minutos.
I can run without stopping for 30 minutes.
No tomes una decisión sin pensártelo bien.
Don't make a decision without thinking it through.
Tendrás éxito sin intentarlo siquiera.
You'll succeed without even trying.
¿Cuánto puedes estar sin comer?
How long can you go without eating?
Se puede estar más tiempo sin beber.
You can go longer without drinking.
¿Puedes cocinar sin mancharlo todo?
Can you cook without making a mess?
¿Puedes llevar esta jarra sin verter agua?
Can you carry this jug without spilling any water?
Pista 53. Error 29.
I used to get up at 7. No, I usually get up at 7.
Antes me iba a la cama sobre las 10.
I used to go to bed at around 10.
Suelo irme a la cama sobre las 11.
I usually go to bed at around 11.
Antes, Mark vivía en la casa al lado de la mía.
Mark used to live in the house next to mine.
Mark suele salir de casa a las 8.
Mark usually leaves home at 8.
Antes llovía con más frecuencia.
It used to rain more often.
Suele llover más a menudo en otoño.
It usually rains more often in the fall.
¿Qué sueles desayunar?
What do you usually have for breakfast?
Suelo tomar tostadas y una taza de café.
I usually have toast and a cup of coffee.
Solía tomar cereales cuando era más joven.
I used to have cereal when I was younger.
Cuando era más joven, dormía más.
I used to sleep longer when I was younger.
Pista 55. Error 30.
I'm used to get up early? No, I'm used to getting up early.
Acostúmbrate.
Get used to it.
No te preocupes, estoy acostumbrada.
Don't worry, I'm used to it.
No estoy acostumbrado a comer a las 3.
I'm not used to having lunch at 3.
Todavía me estoy acostumbrando.
I'm still getting used to it.
Es difícil acostumbrarse a hacerlo así.
It's hard to get used to doing it this way.
Está acostumbrado a hacerlo a su manera.
He's used to doing it his way.
Mi gata no está acostumbrada a bañarse.
My cat's not used to having a bath.
¿Crees que te acostumbrarás a comer eso?
Do you think you'll get used to eating that?
¿Estás acostumbrada a trabajar bajo presión?
Are you used to working under pressure?
Estoy acostumbrado a trabajar desde casa.
I'm used to working from home.
All right, there you go, folks. There you go. Some really common mistakes there. And I want to see if you guys know these mistakes like the back of your hand. You say como la palma de la mano. In English, we say like the back of your hand. Same idea, just we use the other side. Now, here's what I want from you, Show with No Namers. There were 3 structures that were used there in that last part that tend to confuse my students. So here's what I want. I want you to use 3 sentences. In the first one, I want you to use usually. In the second one, I want you to use used to. Not to be used to, not to get used to, just used to. Okay? Tenemos que ver si controlas esto, because this is a mistake I've been hearing since day one. Desde mi primer día como profesor. I've heard this mistake over and over and over. Okay, so the first one. The first example, use usually en contexto. The second one, use used to en contexto. Otra vez, no es to be used to, ni to get used to. Used to, a secas. Okay? And the last one, I want you to use to be or to get used to. All right? Those are 3 structures that I've seen students mix up time and time again. So we're going to demystify them. We're going to make sure you aren't those students who make those mistakes. And if you do, well, by the end of today's pop quiz, hopefully you won't make those mistakes. You won't mix up these different structures again. So the first one, use usually. Use it in a real context, que es algo que haces normalmente. The next one, used to, no con get, no con be, solo used to. Y la tercera, úsame used to, pero empleando el be or to get antes. All right, my amigos, that is your pop quiz. We're going to take a quick commercial break right now. When we come back, we're going to take a look at our Say What soundbite. We'll also check in with our students. I see we've got a lot of students with us who are ready to learn, laugh, and play. That's great news. And we'll check your pop quiz answers. We're also going to hear from you in our question of the week. We've got music, movies, and so much more. So, stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. It's the show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget, you've got amazing programs all throughout the day. Programs designed to get you excited about English. Programs like The Probo Show with Rob Grams. Fitz's program, No Excuses. It's on right before this program. You've also got Jimena Holiday and Nacho, who will test your English. You've got the Lunchtime Show with Rob Grams and Andy Vaughn. You've got Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. You've also got Speak Up with Ruby. After that, The Salad with Dave Boys. You've got Kyle Miller and Drive Time. And you can have a cocktail with Chris Frank in Frankly Speaking. And don't forget about Richard Vaughn. That's right, the one and only, El Mismísimo. And am I leaving anybody out? ¿Omitido a alguien?
Guess who's back? Back again. Yes, he's back. Tell a friend. Yes, he's back. 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 That's right. The Hour to Empower with Jessica Fernandez is back on Vaughn Radio.
That's the one. That's the one. The Hour to Empower. All right, welcome back, folks. It's time for the Say What soundbite. Say what? What? Come on, baby, baby, come on. Come on, baby, baby, come on. All right, amigos, all right. Let's take a look at the Say What soundbite. Oh, man, legend today. Guy's a legend. I think in the 90s, every guy wanted to be this guy. and every girl wanted to be with him. I think I can say, I was like, dude, this is the coolest guy in the whole fucking world. Seriously. And then when you see interviews with the actor, you're like, he is the coolest fucking guy in the world. It's not a role. I know, I'm telling you a lot, but I'm not telling you anything. All right, well, as always, I'm going to play this clip for you 4 times. You'll have 4 chances to write down word for word what you hear, amigos. And hopefully, I think today should be easy enough. All right, so everybody ready? Here we go. Here's your Say What soundbite for the first time.
It got crazy. They started to break the glass and the mannequins and the stuff. And so the lady I was with put me in a bin that they haul clothes around in. Laid me in there, stuff on top, a bunch of boxes on me, rolled me right out.
All right, now I've got to say something. Forget about that annoying interviewer. Like, she won't let the guy speak. He's like, and then some boxes, and she goes, what? She just keeps saying what? Like, I when I was editing it and watching, I was like, will you shut up and let the guy talk? So you'll hear the interviewer in the background just saying, what are you getting? No, what? It's really annoying. If you know interviewers who do that, not the best quality. Let the fucking guy speak. And it was hard because I was trying to find a moment to edit out of the interview, and the interviewer just kept, what? No, get out of here, what? Over and over. And I was like, shut the fuck up, lady. You want the guy to speak? Then just be quiet for a minute and let him speak. And I get it. She's reacting to everything he says. But if the reaction's always the same, you know, like, oh, get on. You know who gets accused of this? Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon, like, there are times that people have come on his show and said something that's not funny at all, and they admit it. That was not funny. And he's like, and it's not a normal reaction. Like, so I know Jimmy Fallon is very likable, que cae muy bien, but if you ever watch it, it's kind of cringe. It's like, te deja como, oh man, it's like you're kissing the guy's ass a little too much there. So in this case, the woman was just like, her reactions were like, no, get out. Are you serious? It's like, yeah, but if you don't let him tell the story, then we're not going to know what he's going to say. So I want you to listen to that annoying interviewer in the background too. All right, let me give it to you a second time.
It got crazy. They started to break the glass and the mannequins and the stuff. And so the lady I was with put me in a bin that they haul clothes around in. Laid me in there, stuff on top, a bunch of boxes on me, rolled me right out.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace. Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damián, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
vaughantienda.com.
It's the Shit. That's right, folks. This book is the shit, available at Vaughan Tienda and wherever fine books are sold. And don't forget, I've got a few other books up my sleeve as well. But today we're not looking at one of my books. We're looking at Errores Comunes en Inglés que deberías conocer. It's available at Vaughan Tienda, and as with all our materials, it comes with audio. All right, well, let's go on over to our chat room, and we'll see who's in the house and who's got some answers for us. There's Chris Valrol checking in. Good morning to you, Chris. How's it going? Welcome aboard. She says, morning, dear show with no namers. Born to Iron Man says, morning, mates. Let's rock with the best edutainment in the radio world. Awesome. Yeah. Thanks to you, Born to Iron Man and Chris. We got Maria Jose in the house. What's up, Maria Jose? She says, morning. Let's learn and have fun. Well, Maria Jose, if that's the attitude you have, you're definitely going to learn and have fun today. So great PMA, positive mental attitude. Let's see. Elena. Elena says, good morning, dear classmates and teacher. Come on, let's crush this. I love it. Aplastar, pero también crush es arrasar. Excellent. Wow, Elena. You've been getting a lot of totally natives lately. Great job. Let's crush this. It's funny, too, because I listened to a podcast, one of the podcasts I listened to, and the guy calls the best guests they've ever had, o sea, la lista de mejores invitados, he calls them Mount Crushmore. ¿Pillas el chiste ahí? Bueno, el monte este de roca que tiene los 4 presidentes. You know that famous rock sculpture in the United States? That's called Mount Rushmore. But this guy calls it Mount Crushmore. Que lo petan, los mejores. me gusta el juego de palabras ahí. So great word, Elena. Wow. Laura says, good morning, lovely show with no namers. Rise and shine. Oh, yeah. Laura, I've been up for hours. I'm working on the afternoon already. I don't know about you guys, but I'm an early riser. Yeah, well, early to bed, early to rise makes a person healthy, wealthy, and wise. ¿Te la sabías? It was coined by Benjamin Franklin. Early to bed, early to rise makes a person healthy, wealthy, and wise. Bueno, tengo 2 de ellos al menos. I'm healthy. I'm wise. I feel like I'm wise. I'm not wealthy, though. Still waiting for that 3rd one to come. What happened, Ben Franklin? Are you sure? I keep getting up at the crack of dawn because, as we said yesterday, I believe, the early bird gets the worm. I think we were talking about our buddy Franklin, the early bird. All right, great. There's Laura in the house. Good morning to you, Laura. Laura, great to have you on board. And Laura gave us, I've been looking at, last month, we looked at false friends. Well, this month, I've decided to focus on portmanteaus. What is a portmanteau? Brunch. Yeah, brunch. The word breakfast and lunch. They're mixes of words. And you gave me some really good ones this morning. She gave me Chocoholic, que es adicto al chocolate, which then reminded me of Workaholic, alguien que trabaja mucho. And what other ones did you give us? Motel, motor plus hotel, and Medicare. ¿Sabéis esta? Esta es muy buena, Laura. So, Medicare es en Estados Unidos, es la salud para la gente mayor. O sea, que están cubiertos, right? If you're elderly, you can sign up for it, te apuntas, es un programa del gobierno que se llama Medicare. Now, if you're poor, you have Medicaid. Y en ambos casos, they're portmanteaus, as Laura pointed out. So Medicare, medical care. Medical aid is Medicaid. ¿Por qué? Porque es ayuda, aid, auxilio, aid. So great ones, Medicare, Medicaid, motel, chocoholic, workaholic. So we'll be focusing on those words, Laura. Great suggestions you gave me. Gloria, there she is. We'll hear from Gloria today. What a lovely voice Gloria has. She says, morning, guys. I usually have a shower after breakfast. Great. Usually. Normalmente. Es como poner normally. O sea, usually y normally. Same word, really. So I usually have a shower after breakfast. Now, that's totally correct. Now, una pregunta. ¿Por qué diría yo, I usually take a shower after breakfast? Because I'm American. Yeah, the British say, I'm going to have a shower. I'm going to have a look. The Americans say, I'm going to take a look. I'm going to take a shower. Esto lo vimos la semana pasada en el capítulo de take, de FYI. This week, we're looking at the verb to come. So come on in. Check it out. Great, Gloria. So far, so good. The next one, she says, I used to cry a lot when I was a baby. Perfecto. So el primero, usually, lo usamos con presente. The next one, used to, que no lo empleamos con nada. It's I, es sujeto, used to, más el infinitivo. I used to be happy. I used to be an angry young man. Esto es un pasado. Esto es yo antes. Y he visto que alumnos a veces quieren meter un before ahí cuando le doy la traducción. No, el used to ya dice que no. So you don't have to say, I used to be a crybaby before. No, el used to ya implica eso. So, eso es un poco lo usamos siempre. Y la pregunta, did you used to? No? Did you used to live in New York? Yeah, I used to live in New York. So far, so good, Gloria. And the last one, when in England, you have to get used to driving on the left. Yes, yes, yes. Fantastic, Gloria. So, reviewing, usually, presente, right? The next one, used to. No va con to be, con to get, va con el infinitivo después. Okay, I used to eat. I used to swim. Yo antes hacía. And the last one, she says, you have to get used to driving on the left. Y eso es perfecto porque el error con eso es to be used to y to get used to. Siempre si le sigue un verbo, es un gerundio. Aunque engaña, porque es un to. So, I'm used to driving in Spain. I got used to driving in Spain my first week here. Right? Por ejemplo, to get used to. Now, también lo puedes hacer con sustantivo. I'm used to my car. Estoy acostumbrado a mi coche. Pero el momento que eso es un verbo, tiene que ir en gerundio. Okay? So be careful because that's a common mistake. But not for Gloria. Let's see. Elena. Elena says, I usually go running twice a week. Great. She says, I used to go to the gym, but got tired of it because I never got used to lifting weights. Elena, you turned it into a story. I love it. So creative. I don't know about the rest of you, but I've got to say, I am so proud of Elena. All of you, but Elena, I don't know what you're having for breakfast these days, but you've been doing such a wonderful job lately. And I think that's the general consensus. It's not just me. And I'm not being Jimmy Fallon. I'm not just, everything you say is great. No. Right? The same way, if you make a mistake, I'll be the first one to say, are you sure? But Elena, you have been knocking it. You've been crushing it. Para usar la palabra que nos diste tú. All right. Let's see. Chris Valrol, speaking of crushing it. Chris says, I usually listen to the show with no name every day. We know it, and we're very thankful for it because you're a leader. The second one, I used to work for a Japanese company. Ya no trabaja. Perfecto. And she says, I'm getting used to eating less bread. Yes. Perfect. Guys, these are tough structures. No son difíciles en sí, pero confunden entre ellas. No, porque si lo piensas, que es difícil. Used to más gerundio, ok, pues perfecto. Pero no siempre más gerundio, porque si es used to como pasado, entonces no. So, I mean, knowing that in theory is great, but another thing is getting all three of them right. Great job, guys. So, let's see. Laura, there's lovely Laura. She says, I usually get up at 7:30 a.m., but I used to get up at 6 a.m. I'm getting used to having some tea in the morning. Not true. I'm a coffee person. Nice job, though. Perfect. Great job, Laura. Yeah. All right. Yeah, if you're a coffee person, me too, Laura. I'm a coffee person. I like tea, but if if I've got to choose, I want my coffee. And I'll tell you something, not just any coffee. No offense, guys. If you love that Nespresso or all that fake coffee, my friend's like, but it tastes real. But it's not. Still, to me, it's like, corporate, coffee machine flavor. If you really love coffee, you don't like that fake stuff. Sorry to all of you who invested in those little pods, esos paquetes, Nespresso or whatever they're called. Nice, but it's not real coffee. Oh, maybe it is real, but it's not the same thing. You can't. My taste buds, mis papilas gustativas, you call them, or something like this. Lo que tienes en la lengua para saborear las cosas. Mis amigos de sabor, we call them. My taste buds. They know the difference. And there's nothing, Laura, maybe you can agree with me or disagree with me. There's nothing like that Italian, the Bialetti coffee maker. Am I right or am I right? Cuando sabes que tienes la razón, dices, am I right or am I right? O sea, ¿tengo razón o tengo razón? But, okay, Bialetti. I'm saying Bialetti because that's the famous one, but one of those copies will do. Oh, best coffee ever. And I'll tell you something. Every time Americans come and they visit me and I make them some coffee, they end up taking one of those coffee machines back with them. You know, the ones that you put on the burner in los fogones? Yep. There's nothing like that. Sorry, Starbucks. Sorry. So, Laura, are you with me on that? Are we on the same page there? There's coffee and then there's all the other crap. Starbucks and latte, mocha chocolata, yeah. Mocha chocolata, yeah. Sounds like a song more than a coffee, right? Like a foofy drink. All right, let's see. Wonderful job, Laura. Maria Jose says, I usually go to work by car. ¿Sabes una forma más fácil de decirlo? Es correcto, María José, pero te lo simplificamos. I usually drive to work. Menos palabra, menos estructura ahí. I usually drive to work, right? Perfect. Use of usually. The next one, I used to have breakfast at work, but nowadays I'm not used to leaving home without having something to eat in the morning. Perfect. Maria Jose. Wonderful, wonderful job there. All right. Born to Iron Man participating in our pop quiz. And he says, you usually listen to Vaughn Radio on my phone. I do. All right. It's correct. All right. It's not based on a true story. It's grammatically correct, but I don't ever remember listening to Vaughn Radio, and especially on your phone. I imagine you wanted to say, I usually listen to Vaughn Radio on my phone. Great job. The next one, I used to listen to Western Civilization by Guy Williams, but not anymore. And the last one, we're used to following the rules of the show with no name. Great job. Yes. Wow. Really wonderful job over there. I've got to say, like 6 or 7 students participated. And I don't know if that was the first time in the pop quiz, but I did not see one mistake. So give it up. Give it up. Okay, Born to Iron Man, you. Es correcto, como te digo, es rara la frase, pero es correcto. So excellent job, students, collectively and individually. I'll use Elena's word. You are crushing it. And who knows, maybe one day you'll be featured on Mount Crushmore. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got to go to a quick commercial break right now. I can't believe we're halfway through the show. I'm having a blast. I hope you guys are having fun with me too. I hope you're learning. And I hope you'll join us in the second half of today's program. You know how this works. We'll be right back with much more. So, stick around. Hey amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. It is time for part 3 of today's show with no name on Vaughn Radio. And just a quick reminder, stop by grupovaughn.com/cursos destacados. There you can find out all about our master's programs, our one-to-one flex, our group classes, classes for the kids, Weekend Town, masters, and so much more. And don't forget, not just Valencianos, but wherever you're tuning in from, as long as you have the app, you'll always be able to listen, right? Because some people tell me, oh, Alberto, man, when I go up by the mountains, I don't hear you guys too well. Well, as long as you have data, right? Cell service, cobertura, service, then you can connect with Vaughn Radio. And if you know you're going to go to a place where you're going to have limited service, you can download the podcasts before you go. I always do it. Before a long trip, like a flight or a long trip, I download a bunch of podcasts and videos on my phone. This way it doesn't matter if I have internet. I've already got the content on my phone. So you never have to miss an episode of the show with no name or any of your favorite English programs here on Vaughn Radio. All right, let's kick off with Homophones on the show with no name.
Homophones on the show with no name.
'cause homophones time, 'cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. 'Cause homophones time, 'cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. 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 Show with no name. Show with no name. The show with no name. That's right, amigos. It's homophones here on the show with no name. Let's take a look at our 2 words today and see if you're A, familiar with them, and then B, if you know if they sound exactly the same or not. The first word is navegar. Okay? Navegar por internet, también por la tele, si estás haciendo zapping, which we don't say, not in that context. At least in American English, if I say zap it, te estoy diciendo ponlo en el microondas. Zap it. So we don't say hacer zapping, obviously, to do zapping. Not, at least not in American English. We say this. So, navegar por internet, navegar en general, hacer zapping. It also means olas and oleaje. Olas and oleaje, which is, I guess, why it also means hacer surf. Porque lo haces en el oleaje, no, en las olas, en el oleaje, en la oleaje, en el oleaje. You guys, then you complain about English, huh? I got a 50-50 chance of getting your words. El ola. Oh, man. All right. The second word now. The first word I know you know because you use it in Spanish. You don't pronounce it like us. There's a little clue. The next one is siervo. No ciervo, pronunciado como en Latinoamérica, sino siervo, sirviente. Okay? When I hear this word, a lot of times it reminds me of the feudal system, right? Tenías the lords, los dueños de la propiedad. Then you had the siervos, the sirvientes. Okay? So, what are those 2 words? The first one, navegar, hacer surf, has many, many meanings. They all are connected, which makes sense. And the second one, which is siervo o sirviente. What are those 2 words? And do they sound exactly the same or not? Also, let me give you today's Say What soundbite. Here it is for the 3rd time.
It got crazy. They started to break the glass and the mannequins and the stuff. And so the lady I was with put me in a bin that they haul clothes around in. Laid me in there, stuff on top, a bunch of boxes on me, rolled me right out.
¿Conoces Weekend Town? La nueva iniciativa de Vaughan.
Pues no.
Es un fin de semana de inmersión en inglés. Y es nuevísimo.
A ver, cuéntame más.
Tendrás una inmersión lingüística total durante 2 días. Un total de 24 horas hablando con angloparlantes de todo el mundo.
¡Wow! ¡Qué interesante!
Ganarás confianza y soltura a la hora de comunicarte en inglés. Mejorarás tu comprensión auditiva y tus habilidades conversacionales en una situación de comunicación real en inglés. Ven a Weekend Town y te sorprenderás con todo lo que puede avanzar tu inglés en un fin de semana. Weekend Town de Vaughan. Un fin de semana de inmersión en inglés. All right. More information about Weekend Town or Vaughan Town, just go to grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. All right, let's go on over here because we've got a lot of people participating in our Say What soundbite. Let's kick off with Laura. Laura's always got a good ear. Let's see what she heard. She says, I heard an American man explaining how a lady he was with tried to protect him from a crazy man who was having a fit and vandalizing a store. Great job. And to have a fit is to go crazy, no? Perder los estribos. So he was having a fit and vandalizing a store. Great vocabulary. Elena,
Elena says an American star commenting about an anecdote when he got shut in a bin for flying off the handle. Wow. To fly off the handle is another way of saying to have a fit. Great job, ladies. To fly off the handle, to lose your temper. Excellent. Wow, wow, wow. Good ear and excellent vocabulary. Let's see, Maria Jose. She says, it sound, so no puedes decir it sound like, sería o it sounds like, or it sounded like, pero no sound sin ese o ed, right? Si no sería tercera persona. So it sounds like an interview where an American man is telling the interviewer, who is cracking up, yeah, fake laugh there, something that I can't figure out. No me entero. Well, that's partly the interviewer who's just let the guy talk. Chris says, we all know it was an interview. I heard an American actor who is narrating an anecdote, I guess, with a woman, a broken glass, and maybe he got crazy, or perhaps it was someone else who went crazy. Great analysis. Wonderful. All right, let's also take a look at our homophones over here. The first person to participate is Born to Iron Man. Also, Chris, Maria Jose, and Elena. Let's see what they had to say. First, you all got the words right. Step one. All right, Born to Iron Man says they sound the same. They sound alike. Chris Valrol says the same. Maria Jose agrees. So does Elena. All right, well, let's take a look at the words. The first word, surfear, you say, hacer surf, is surf. Surf. All right, so how do we use it? Well, it's a regular verb. He surfed the internet. He was channel surfing. He wouldn't stay on one channel, right? But also to browse, right? To surf, to browse, ojear, surf, same idea, navegar. We were browsing the internet. We were surfing the internet. So it also means las olas, el oleaje. Look, Emma stood on the beach watching the surf. So there you go. Now, how do you pronounce that word right in English? Pues tienes que imaginarte la U como una E. Entonces dices surf, que es la segunda palabra. So yes, they are homophones. O sea, insisto, cuando veas la palabra surf, S-U-R-F, que veas la segunda en tu cabeza. Y al menos en inglés no vuelvas a decir surf, porque surf no significa nada en inglés. It's surf. So you can always remember, el sirviente tuvo que hacer surf, right? The surf had to surf. Excellent job. And now it's time for our question of the week.
Question of the week.
All right, this is about epiphanies today, seeing the light. A turning point, right? Un punto de inflexión. And we're going to hear from our students. First up, we've got the lovely Chris Valrol. Let's have your undivided attention.
Morning, Shonanamers. Chris Valrol speaking. I take epiphany as a revealed truth, or as a communication moment between unconscious and conscious mind, as Carl Gustav Jung said. So I've had tons of epiphanies throughout my life. For instance, the glorious split second I understood you, Alberto, saying totally native. Or that time we were renovating our apartment I couldn't stop turning the blueprint in my mind because I wanted to have less hallway and a bathroom, but I couldn't find a solution. One day, suddenly, looking at the ceiling, the answer came to me, and I knew exactly how to divide the apartment. Thank you. Bye bye.
All right. Yeah, I think it's great that you said it. Yeah, you've had many of us, I think, have had epiphanies, not just one, right? Moments where you're like, I need to do this more, or I shouldn't do this. These moments, or where you're just trying to figure something out, and then it clicks, como decimos en inglés, que es otra forma de decir, no, ves la luz. It clicks. I couldn't figure out the answer, and then it clicked, como los Playmobil, no? It clicked, and I figured it out. I saw the light. I had an epiphany, and that's a great thing too. Sometimes when you're looking for it, like Chris was, it doesn't come, right? When you're like, I gotta find it. And then when you're just like, well, just sitting there, and you're like, wait a second. So it's an interesting thing about epiphanies because you can't just make them happen, right? They have to come from somewhere. And Chris, you explained it very, very well. When your conscious and your subconscious mind kind of chat and say, hey, what's going on here? And you have a realization, some kind of truth comes to light. And I've got to say, that's a beautiful moment. The totally native moment. Yeah, because you don't know how many people, when I'm at the book fair or some kind of event, and people come up to me and they say, it's funny, like, what's the totally native? What is that thing you say in the show? Y me ha pasado muchas veces, ¿eh? Y ahí ya digo, totally native, totalmente nativo. So, Chris, I think that's like the first step of getting the show with no name. Hey, entiendo los jingles, no? Las ráfagas. So wonderful job. Great. And as you could see, a minute was more than enough time to even, have a little sense of humor in there, to even give us, I've had many epiphanies, but one I can remember. So really, I believe, if not, I would tell you 2 minutes, that a minute is more than enough to answer one question. And you guys, you girls, I should say, you prove it week after week. All right, let's see. Up next, we've got Gloria. We think we got your number. Te tenemos calada. We got your number.
Hi, Alberto. It's Gloria here. I'm not sure whether what I'm going to say would fit into this week's question of the week, but I would say an epiphany for me when a coworker of mine taught me how to use the Excel or the spreadsheet. Up to then, it would take me forever. I would spend hours on end with the calculator or the computer to figure out each student's average grade. Because, so many tests, so many activities per skill, so many groups. So it would be, oh my goodness, never ending. And you could always make a mistake. So when she taught me how to use this tool, I just couldn't believe I had been in the dark for so many years. And it was, I don't know, I was so grateful. We would exchange, like I would offer to help her with her English. And she was a chemistry teacher, and she taught me how to use this tool. So I would say it was like enlightening, mind-boggling. It was like eye-opening, overwhelming, all the different positive adjectives you can imagine. So I was really grateful.
Wow, Gloria. You exude confidence. I'm telling you right now, when you speak, you exude confidence, and it's excellent to listen to you speak. I'm telling you, it's really excellent to listen to you speak. Unbelievable. And an interesting thing over there that she did use some great vocabulary, by the way. She said eye-opening, no, revelador. We looked at that one. Mind-boggling. Just be careful. You said boggling, right? It's mind-boggling. Que te deja estupefacto, no? And it's cool because it's something that made your life easier. There was a turning point there. And she said she was getting overwhelmed with all the data, all the information, right? Trying to figure out the grade average, ¿no? Las notas para buscar el promedio. And thankfully, there are good people in the world. And someone said, well, I can help you. I'll teach you how to use Excel. We say spreadsheet if you don't want to use the brand names. Si no queremos usar la marca, you can call it a spreadsheet, right? A spreadsheet. And the word Excel is hacerlo genial. So one thing, I can use it in context. All of you who participate in the question of the week are excelling. You're excellent. Wow, Gloria. In the dark. I mean, you use some really great vocabulary, and your confidence, no one can take it. No one can take that from you. And do you want me to confess something right now? I don't know how to make a spreadsheet. Yeah. In fact, they make me nervous. When I look at them, I'm like, oh no, too many boxes. Now, the good news is my wife is an expert. Hey, you can't be good at everything in life. We have to admit our strengths and our weaknesses, right? So great, but it's something, especially if you're running a business, finances, keeping track, que es muy buena este collocation, to keep track of, ¿no? Mantener la cuenta de algo. So excellent. Really, Gloria, you sounded great. Keep it up. And you've participated so much week after week, and you can tell. You can tell. Wonderful job. All right, up next, we've got lovely Laura.
Hey there, it's Laura. I don't know if the story I'm going to tell you can be considered an epiphany, because I was very little when it happened, and at that time I didn't give it too much thought, of course. When I was 6 years old, we were at a tennis club, and I was playing with the little dog of a friend of my parents. We started running, and as most children do when they run, I wasn't looking where I was going, and I fell into the deep end of an empty swimming pool. At the time, swimming pools were not fenced. I fell feet first. That's why I suppose I didn't break any bones and I didn't injure myself. It's weird because I remember falling down in slow motion. But by the time my parents got to the pool, which was not far away from where they were, I was already climbing up the ladder and getting out of the pool. Maybe I was just lucky, but I like to think that my guardian angel was on his toes that day. Bye, everyone.
Great story. Great vocab. Her guardian angel was on his toes or her toes. Estaba espabilado ese día, su ángel de la guardia. Yeah, I think about that a lot of times too, Laura, where I'm like, wow, I can't believe I survived that. You know, when you look back in retrospect and you say, wow, wow, that didn't have to end so well, right? So thankfully it did end well. You didn't break any bones. And I guarantee you didn't go near pools for a while, at least the edge. Whether they had water in them or not, you were like, you know what? I'm going to stay away from the pool. It reminds me of an epiphany I had when I was a kid, and it was an epiphany with pain. Hey, feelings help reinforce it, right? When you feel pain or anger, it'll reinforce it. And I remember my parents, we had a stove at home, una estufa. And my parents, don't touch that. Oh, do not go near it. They didn't even say don't touch it. They say don't go near it. And of course, little Alberto decided, well, I'm going to touch the fucking thing. And I still remember how much it hurt my little finger. And my parents, you know, they said the typical line, I told you so. Now, actually, you know, they took care of me and helped me out. But let me ask you this. Do you think I ever touched that again? Do you think I ever went close to that stove again? No way, Jose. So that's another lesson too. Sometimes no matter how much people try and warn us, careful, you're going to fall. I see it with my daughter. Careful. And then she falls. And you don't want to be that parent. Believe me, I told you so. Does anybody like anybody who says, I told you so? I don't think so. It's not a nice quality, right? But I believe that a lot of times in life, we got to figure things out on our own, right? We have to say, oh, okay, gotcha, lesson learned. I learned that lesson in an instant, in a microsecond. I learned don't touch things that are hot. And I learned, listen to your parents sometimes, they know what they could have saved you the burn. But again, sometimes until we feel that burn ourselves, we don't learn the lesson. And so that's why I say sometimes it's part of the reinforcement there. All right, let's see. We've got some people participating over here in our Say What soundbite. Let's see. We've got Elena. Elena, I'm taking a quick glance at it. Looks great. Looks good to me. All right. Laura. She's asking Laura. Oh, we're missing a word there, right? Possibly. I can't look at the whole thing now. But we will take a look at it and we'll see if you are missing a word, what word it is there. Because she's asking Laura. Elena's like, I'm missing a word there, Laura. Did you get it? I don't see which one you're missing. As I said, we'll look at it more in detail in the fourth part of today's show. Laura also says that's learning the hard way. Absolutely. Yeah, well, it's a very parent thing to say. You want to learn the hard way or the easy way? But again, I think no matter how much you tell somebody, sometimes they need to learn the hard way. People need to learn because that lesson will stay with them more than a verbal warning, right? Somebody saying, you could break your arm if you keep jumping off there and then you break your arm. You're like, oh, I remember that time. I still remember the pain when I broke my arm and jumped off whatever it is. So excellent stuff. Wonderful, wonderful stuff over there. And beautiful, beautiful job. I got to say, you guys are making me proud. Not just today, every day. Yeah, I mean that. If not, I just wouldn't say anything. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break right now. When we come back, we've got our Double Trouble. We've got our Say What soundbite for the fourth and final time. We've also got to hear from more students. We're going to hear from Nudia, Anix, and Paco in our question of the week, plus music, movies, and so much more up ahead. So, if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the fourth and final part of today's show with no name. Thanks to everybody who participated in our question of the week. Next week, We're going to get into the Halloween spirit. And I want to know the scariest thing that ever happened to you. What is the scariest thing that's ever happened to you in your life? If you can tell us in around a minute, you can send it to aalonso@grupovon.com. Again, write that email address down. Write it down so you can participate. And if you participate every week, you're going to improve your speaking. If you don't, you're not. It's that simple. Right? Because there are many of you who participate, but then I never see you on the question of the week. So I guess you got the speaking down pat. No tienes que practicar. Pues enhorabuena. You got it perfect. You don't need to participate. You don't need to practice your speaking. Good on you. Enhorabuena. Most of the students I know, though, that's what they need to practice the most. Not comprehension. Nope. But speaking. So you have an opportunity to speak every week here on the show with no name. All right, folks, let's kick off with a little double trouble. Yeah. Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble. All right, amigos, it's double trouble only on the show with no name. And as always, this is where we're going to look at words with double, maybe even triple meanings. Well, today, just a double trouble. So I think everybody can figure it out over there. All right. Yeah, really. I think on a scale of 1 to 10, this one's a 1. Consider it a gift. All right. Se está construyendo un pasillo en el Salón de la Fama. Chris Valrol, I know you know this one because you said it in your audio. No supe qué hacer con el pasillo en mi right? En mi apartamento. Well, you said the word, so you should know it. And if you guys were listening to Chris Valrol, she said it. We didn't plan that. Or did we, Chris? Are we on the same wavelength? Just be careful, guys. I'm seeing Elena has written and Laura has written mannequins. Lo habéis escrito raro. Mannequin en inglés es M-A-N-N-E-Q-U-I-N, mannequin. No, si lo ves escrito. So just be careful, guys. And I know in Spanish you call them maniquíes, something like that. Or for us, it's mannequin. Mannequin. M-A-N-N-E-Q-U-I-N. Okay, mannequin es la pronunciación. And we can build this thing together. Say, Mannequin, la película. Qué peliculón, eh? The guy who falls in love with a mannequin. All right, so there you go. There's your double trouble. Again, I think today it's easy peasy. Let's also listen to our Say What soundbite here for the 4th and final time.
It got crazy. They started to break the glass and the mannequins and the stuff. And so the lady I was with put me in a bin that they haul clothes around in. Laid me in there, stuff on top, a bunch of boxes on me, rolled me right out.
¿Quieres estar al tanto de todas nuestras promociones en la Vaughan Esfera? Well, now you can be in the loop. Puedes estar al tanto. Puedes enterarte de ofertas, novedades y eventos. Y mucho más. Puedes encontrar todo eso en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Eso es, en grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. Ahí tendrás toda la información de última hora. Guárdalo como favorito. grupovaughan.com/cursos destacados. And stay in the loop.
That's right, amigos. Stay in the loop. Mantente al día. All you have to do is follow us on social media. And of course, if you haven't done that, subscribe to our newsletter, because aside from telling you what's going on, it also gives you content. So social media, you'll get content, you'll get information, whether you're following Vaughn, whether you're following me, whether you're following Kyle Miller. In fact, you should follow all of us. This way you've got content coming at it everywhere. All right, let's take a look at our simple double trouble today. Let's see. Laura as well. Laura, great job. I see Laura and Elena are duking it out. No, peleándose, pero no es verdad. Es para enseñar duke it out. They're duking it out to see who's gonna get it. And it's a little bit tougher than I thought. And well, mannequin, good. Now you have both spelt it correctly. Great. Hey, es parte también. Vemos, bueno, eso se escribe así en inglés. All right, so the translation for the double trouble was, se está construyendo, la voz pasiva, se está construyendo un pasillo en el Salón de la Fama. All right, the first person to take a stab at it is Elena. Elena, you are on it today. And lately, Elena says a hall is being built in the Hall of Fame. That is correct. I know you know Hall of Fame, ¿no? Salón de la Fama. Lo llamáis, yo creo, el Hall of Fame, ¿no? The Hall of Fame. Now, it's interesting because that word hall can have two meanings here. Okay? So, ahora, los británicos creo que no tanto. Pero, a ver, vamos a verlo así. A hall can be un salón, right? So a dance hall, un salón de baile, right? So la palabra hall, a secas, H-A-L-L, es salón, salón de la fama. Ahora, en inglés americano también es pasillo, porque nosotros decimos, it's the third door at the end of the hall, or at the end of the hallway. O sea, son sinónimos en inglés americano, hallway and hall, ¿ok? Como pasillo. Los británicos suelen decir the corridor. Para nosotros es muy largo esa palabra. The third door down the corridor. What? That's too much. The third door down the hall. No, down the hall or hallway. But a hall, again, is also a salon, right? This is the Hall of Fame. This is the Hall of Presidents. De hecho, en Disney, en Epcot, que es uno de los parques de Disney en Orlando, tienen un salón que se llama el Salón de los Presidentes, the Hall of Presidents. So there you go, my amigos. I said it wasn't too difficult, but you nailed it, Elena. Wonderful. Let's see. Laura, a hallway is being built in the Hall of Fame. Perfecto. Hallway or hall? Chris Valrol, I love it. Chris gives us both. She says a hall or hallway, whichever you prefer, is being built on the Hall of Fame, on encima, in dentro there, right? So just careful with the preposition there. Wonderful job, ladies. A new hall. Oh, se está construyendo un nuevo pasillo. I didn't say nuevo. I left out the word, sorry. A new hall is being built, muy bien, la voz pasiva también, in the Hall of Fame. Excellent job, ladies. All right, let's see. We've got to continue with our question of the week here. We're looking at epiphanies. And up next, we've got a student who always participates, and I'm extremely proud of her. Give it up for Nuria.
Hey there, Alberto, Sobrino Namers. This is Nuria. I was thinking about what to say regarding this week's question. And this morning, out of the blue, it springs to my mind that it'll soon be my father's birthday. And as it's not always 90 years old, then I've decided to throw him a surprise party. So the whole family will gather at my sister's. When my parents arrive for lunch, Eureka! My father will be very excited because he's not counting on us. I'll explain why. It's because my husband, my son, his girlfriend, and I live in Madrid, and the rest of my family, my parents, siblings, and others live in Vigo. So my father will not count on us being there. It'll be a flying visit, but it's well worth it. Take care, amigos. Thank you.
Wow. Nuria. I'm glad the question of the week inspired you to throw a surprise party for your dad's 90th. And by the way, happy 90th birthday to Nuria's dad.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. We love you. We love you.
Happy birthday, Nuria's dad. What a great daughter. I think that's the greatest birthday present you can give him. Not the surprise party, just being you, being yourself, Nuria. And what a great person you are. You prove it week after week. And your dad is going to have the surprise of his life. He's not going to expect it at all, especially because you live in different cities. So that is beautiful. And what time should I be there? You didn't send me the address. No me mandaste la dirección. Oh, I'm not invited? I'll shower. I love it, Nuria. That's great. She used some great vocabulary out of the blue. De la nada. Out of the blue. She also said something that I mentioned before. Another way we say it is an aha moment. I had an aha moment. Yes, it's an aha. We also said before, it hit me. It dawned on me. No? Me ocurrió de repente. It hit me. It dawned on me. Right? It's what happened to Cris Valrol before when she said, I couldn't figure it out. And then it hit me. Right? It dawned on me. These are ways, se me ocurrió, me vino la solución, me vino la idea. So that is beautiful. There's no doubt in my mind, Nuria, it's going to be a special birthday party. So enjoy it. And you can tell your dad he's got many reasons to be proud of you. Your English teacher can vouch for you. Puedo poner la mano en el fuego. I can vouch for you. Vouch. Viene de la palabra voucher. Un vale, right? Vouch. I can vouch for you. Wonderful job, Nuria. Next up, we're going to hear from Anix.
Hi everyone, this is Anix. Well, I've never had an epiphany. I think it's that kind of things that you remember, and I don't have any memories about it. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, hey, at least she participated. Said she's never had an epiphany, a moment where she woke up and said, I got it. I got it. Well, I've got to say something, Anix. Knowing you, I'm sure some kind of epiphany led you to the kind of work you do. Something in your brain at some point, whether you remember it or not, said, I don't want to sit in a corporate office. I don't want to sit behind a screen, and I don't want to, feel soulless, sin alma. And that's why you work in paradise. You work at a botanical garden. So I beg to differ. Creo que has tenido, you must have had at least an epiphany that says, I know the kind of job I want and the kind of job I do not want. That's an epiphany. That's a realization, a truth that comes to you, whether you remember the moment or not. But Anix, as Laura said, short and sweet. Excellent job, Anix. You sound great. And even though you didn't have an epiphany, you expressed yourself perfectly. All right. And last but not least, Paco, as I said, he gave us 2 minutes and change. So Paco, I have a hunch that you could tell us the same thing in half the time, but that's for next time. We have time, so we'll listen to Paco's audio note. But remember, if we do run out of time and yours is 2 minutes and the other ones are a minute, you know which one I have to cut. So make sure, keep them, even a minute and a half is okay, as long as you're not repeating yourself. What we do not want is you like resumiendo lo que dijiste al principio. This is just give us the idea here, right? That's the idea behind this exercise. All right, Paco. Now, Paco's got a lot of idiomatic expressions, so let's see how many we can catch.
Hi, my fellow classmates. It's Paco from Cádiz. How you keeping up? I hope you're having a blast. Regarding the question of the week, Alberto, I would like to put in my 2 cents in this topic. To be honest, I don't consider myself a person who relies on epiphany or revelation in and of itself. Why? Because I try to achieve my goals, to seize the opportunity and make them of my time. Unfortunately, in the current news, I have a hunch or a gut feeling that we are on the throes of the Third World War, because some countries around the whole wide world are eager to pull the trigger and invade the other countries. And my heart goes out for the excessive amount and number of casualties that as a result of this conflict. It's a shame that I have to have this type of hunch, but it's all doom and gloom from my approach. That's the reason why, sorry for going off on a tangent in this case, but I would like to put a brave face that's in this topic, but unfortunately that's the way I feel it. Okay, thank you very much. Have a blast and congratulations, Alberto, for your record in FYI. See you.
All right, great job, Paco. Yeah, Paco says, I don't like what I see. I don't like the premonitions I'm getting. It's not that he had an epiphany, but he feels like the world is going towards a world war. Now, I've got to say something, Paco. I know what you said there, and I'm going to just make a little adjustment. You said a lot of countries want this. I've got to be honest, because I know one of those countries you could potentially say is the United States. We're always at war, correct? All right. But I can guarantee that 99% of the population, if it was up to us, if we made the decisions, we would not be in Iraq, Afghanistan, Ukraine. Why? We have our own problems. We don't have to send money and things to other people when we have our own problems. I'm not saying we shouldn't help people, but when, we send more money to Ukraine than the people who just got battered by a hurricane in our own country, we're doing it wrong. So unfortunately, and we're going to talk about this next week, there is a war machine out there, and I think it transcends countries. I think the people who want war, the people who profit from war, it's called the military-industrial complex, by the way, tiene un nombre, it's just like a small group of individuals who make money off the blood of other people. And they try and convince the rest of the world that it has to do with territory or something like that. But sadly, it's business. And if certain people, not countries, I really believe this, if certain people get their way, because these people, the people we're talking about, they don't have one passport. These people have 5 passports. These big, warmongers, the people who move these big contracts out there. So I hope not. I hope not. And what I would recommend, Paco, don't watch the news. Don't do it because, as you said, and you use some great vocabulary, it's all doom and gloom. Doom and gloom. Es todo bajón, tristeza, right? We don't watch the news here, right? And you know what? Life goes on. If I don't know what's going on in Ukraine, I still don't care. No offense to I hope nobody dies. I hope everybody's okay, but I got my own problems. I'm not worried about what's going on in some country I've never been to, especially if it means we're sending money that that should be going to us to them, then I have a problem with it. I don't care what country it is. So yes, there are a lot of people, more than countries, I'll say, eager for war. But I think a normal citizen doesn't want war, right? But there are people who need, for their business to work, perpetual war. And sadly, those people have a lot of power. Yep, that's the way that works. Just be careful. You mix two expressions. You said in the throes, in the throes. Y esto es interesante porque no es throws, T-H-R-O-W-S, sino T-H-R-O-E-S. In the throes of, en dolor intenso. Estar en los últimos, agonizando. Estar en las últimas, to be in the throes. But then you mix it up with to be on the threshold, el umbral. So be careful you don't mix those up. All right, great job, everybody. Wonderful job. We've got to move on, though, because it's time for famous birthday trivia. All right, amigos, it's famous birthdays here on the show with no name. Number one, this person was born in 1918. He was an American director, producer, and choreographer. You might know him from musicals such as Fiddler on the Roof, If I Were a Rich Man, The King and I, The Pajama Game, West Side Story. That's a classic over there, isn't it? Oh, my goodness. All right, well, that's number one. Number two, this guy's last name is Pasillo o Salon. We looked at him. We looked at that word in our Double Trouble. He was a member of the group and Oates. And Oates. I can't tell you the first word because that's his last name. And they were a group very popular in the 80s. They put out a lot of cool songs that I remember, but then they kind of disappeared. So this guy is half of and Oates. He's the And last but not least, he played Dylan McKay on Beverly Hills 90210. You call it Sensación de Vivir. And I think I told you when I mentioned him before, all the guys I know wanted to be him. And all the girls I know wanted to be with him. And unfortunately, he died in 2019, but he seems like just a really cool dude. He was in many movies as well. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 8 Seconds, The Fifth Element, The Final Storm, and, his final feature was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. All right, my amigos, today's famous birthdays are number one, Jerome Robbins, Broadway heavyweight, Jerome Robbins. Number two, Daryl Hall from Hall and Oates, the group Hall and Oates. Its number two is Daryl Hall. And the last one is Luke Perry, who played Dylan McKay and many other roles, but everybody will always remember him as Dylan with those sideburns, right? Those sideburns are patillas. And here he is talking about how he was so popular, he was doing an event at a mall, and they had to sneak him out of there. Tenían que sacarle de ahí porque se volvió loco toda la peña cuando le vio. So he was talking about how he had to escape an event unnoticed, no detectado. So he says, it got crazy. Se volvió loco el sitio. And they started to break the glass and the mannequins, ¿no? En un centro comercial. And the stuff. So the lady I was with, la chica con quien estuve, put me in a bin, en un recipiente, un basura, whatever, in a bin that they haul clothes around in. To haul. Suena como haul, pasillo. H-A-L-L, pero esto es H-A-U-L. Transportar, mover. So A bin that they haul clothes around. Es un homófono para haul. Daryl Hall. Wait, I didn't do that on purpose. Well, and then he says, laid me in there, stuff on top, me tumbó ahí, me echó cosas encima, a bunch of boxes on me, unas cajas encima de mí, and rolled me right out, y me sacó de ahí directamente.
It got crazy. They started to break the glass and the mannequins and the stuff. And so the lady I was with put me in a bin that they haul clothes around in. Laid me in there, stuff on top, a bunch of boxes on me, rolled me right out.
All right, amigos, thank you so much for being here. It's been a pleasure. Ciao for now.